I mean, as far as his hatred toward Kobe, I think that's another thing that I feel like is pretty, like, he's the leader. Think of these five or four as like the Power
Yeah.
Rangers. Drake is away on a mission. Prince Groose is the Red Ranger right now. And then here comes
Yeah.
Kobe. And he's like,
Who's
hey,
the Blue
No, no, no,
Ranger?
no, no,
Get
no,
the
no.
fuck out of here.
move
Get
out the way,
fuck outta
bro.
here.
Move out the
No.
way, dog.
Let's do
All
this.
good.
What's up, everybody? This is the Grand Line Gazette, where we talk about One Piece every damn day. We have a new SBS where we get some info from Oda that we want to talk about. It was just Sword Week like 2 weeks ago. Check out the playlist. We talk about all the members, even Drake, even possible members.
Ooh.
If you guys like that kind of content, definitely like, subscribe, everything like that. We're going to go over this fifth question from the SBS where they talk about Sword, obviously. So the reader asks Oda, I really love the Sword members, so I want to know their age and profile. Does Drake belong to the same class year as Kujaku and Prince Groose? Oda says it's difficult to point out what exactly you want to know about their profile, but I can give out their ages and heights as such. For more detailed information, it's written on the Viva cards. Won't say anything mean, like I want you to buy those, and I won't gonna write in the SBS, and he kind of just goes on like that, like,
Yeah.
I want to answer your question, but also buy my Viva cards. That goes to me and my family too. But you get the ages and the heights of all these guys. I'm gonna list them off real quick, and then we're gonna talk about it. Drake, the former Rear Admiral, age 33. Not gonna talk about heights. Rear Admiral Kujaku, 26. Rear Admiral Groose, 29. Captain Kobe, 18. Commander Hibari, 17. And Lieutenant Commander Helmeppo, 22.
Shouts out to Commander Hibari.
Yeah. Although Kujaku and Groose are juniors of Drake, it's like written in like a translated English, are juniors of Drake, but their relationship is already like the same class. I've been asked so many times if Groose is a prince and from what country, but he actually wasn't. He's just a rich person. So we were actually contemplating if he was a prince in one of these, because obviously his name's Prince,
true.
but
Yeah.
he dresses more like he's a rich, like, spoiled brat.
He's a dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say it.
He comes from old money.
Yeah. But about like their ages, Drake's obviously the oldest. He is, I guess, the highest ranking.
Sure.
And
Aside from Drake. But yes.
yeah, Drake is the oldest and the highest ranking.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Groose. I'm sorry. I thought you were continuing the point. My bad.
No, but he is the second oldest. But
Yeah.
Drake is 33. He's obviously the leader right now of Sword. He is in the hospital, so we are yet to see his the rest of his arc or what he's going to do. But how you guys feel about, like, does this change the dynamic or change how you guys view these characters at all?
Absolutely. Damn near Drake is twice Kobe's age.
Okay.
Damn near. And it's like, holy fuck, you're acting in this kind of sense where you're not
Groose?
practical. No, Drake.
Oh.
Not even Groose. Drake is like twice Kobe's age almost, and he's not as effective as Kobe. Even though Kobe's the crybaby, and even though he's new to this whole shit, whatever, he was trained by Garp, and he's 18, and he's able to be the hero of the Marines. There is only an upward trajectory for him, where Drake has done dick all his entire time being in the Marines.
Well, we don't know about entire time being in Marines. He did enough to get
That's
to.
not what share with us.
Yeah, but
Okay.
a lot of things
you
don't.
Can say the same thing about. You can say the same thing about Garp right now.
Yeah, but I doubt
That's
that.
fine.
Yeah, I doubt that
Yeah,
they would
That's fine. Yeah,
get
definitely.
a character. I doubt that they would get a soldier who never did anything or anything of note, got him into Sword, and not only did that, made him like the leader of Sword, and also promoted him to a Rear Admiral. Now, I could take like maybe he hasn't done anything as a pirate, but as a Marine, he infiltrated like Kaido's network. Like, that's a feat in itself. Like, one way or another. Now, did he do anything as far as the pirate standpoint or getting us to overthrow Kaido? No, but he did do something.
That's fair.
I think that little bit at the end, though, less about his age and more about that him and Kujaku and Groose are kind of in the same class, dude, even though their ages are spanned so far apart. You
Like
got 26,
4 to 5 years.
29, and 33 here.
Yeah, so
I mean, maybe with being deployed, maybe that kind of, you don't have that leadership capabilities. Like, bro, you were just on a 2-year bit. Like, you ain't gonna come back and tell me what to do. Like, this is my place. So it's kind of interesting. I'd love to see how they kind of interact with each other and argue, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, because that's always like a facet, even with people who are going in, because this is like a thing. People going into the military and they're younger than their subordinating officer. So it's like there are these weird and interesting character dynamics. This guy who's been younger than you this whole time has been in the military for 4 years, but you're going into it, so you're under this kid who's under you. That would be an interesting dynamic, but that's not what's being expressed right here. It's more like these people are going on tour for so long. When they come back, it's not the same pecking order.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. But before that, Chris and I used to work on a military base, and we used to see that in real time. Like the lieutenants would be freshly graduated, and they'd be in charge of like the staff sergeants who were like 30 years old and stuff like that. We saw that in real time. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then like the idea of like them leaving, like Drake leaves and he comes back, he's like, Kobe's a hero? Like what? You know what I mean? Like that's real as fuck.
I'm a hero too, because you sent me on this mission to Kaido and I came back alive. Yeah. But whatever.
But they're like, what did you do? But to Kev's point, right before we move on, like they do have a small age discrepancy, but not so much. If you're going out with like coworkers, like 26 to 33, that's still within that range. You know what I mean? Like you're not 22. You know what I mean? You're like a little bit older crowd. But also, like, Kujaku, her grandma's Suru. So she already knows, like...
she's tenured, whether she realizes it or not.
Exactly. She, well, more than her being tenured, whether she realizes it or not, it's like she already knows how to move through the system. Plus, she already has a name of, like, notoriety. So, like, it would be easier... That would be
a better way of putting it.
Yeah, it would be easier for her to kind of navigate and get what she wants. She could also pull some strings from people she's known all her life. So I don't think her being a little bit younger is too much of a stretch from like this canon I'm making up. Drake obviously being there for a while. Groose seems like he joined later. Kev had a theory where it was like he is trying to get some family money and they're like, no, you're worthless, go be of worth. He gets to the military. He sees a kid so much. He's coasting. We've all been good at our job. We've all been really good at our job in the new hire class where you're like, oh, I'm coasting. And all of a sudden somebody else comes in and they start doing real well while you're coasting. And you're like, all right, I guess I got to turn it up. That's like Groose.
Yeah.
I guess I've been going off for a little bit, but that's kind of like Groose.
Kevin, do you feel like Groose is moving in that whole sense where he just is coasting the entire time, or if whatever, but then when he sees Kobe, it's time to turn up?
No, I mean, honestly, I just think he has daddy issues, bro. Like in the sense that like we all had rich friends, right? We all had rich friends. Yeah. Their parents weren't really the parents. They paid for like people to watch the kids in a sense. So I mean, I can't imagine that. We've met other royalty. I mean, celestial dragons, the king from Goa Kingdom, Sabo's half brother or step brother. It's like these people just want attention, and maybe Groose never grew up, and then you have somebody like Garp who's right in front of you, who's a hero to millions of Marines, and he's the world at large. Yeah, it's like I can see you wanting his approval, but to be in the middle of a fight to be like begging for his approval is kind of crazy. I want
to say something about that. So that
is wild.
We talked about Groose off camera. Let's not go all the way in on Groose. We don't have 5 minutes to just hammer in that this dude's kind of just. It's kind of sad that he's 30 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, pause. But stupid. But yeah, this dude's 30. Obviously, he's having some kind of complex with the success that Kobe's having, which is kind of weird because he's a rear admiral. But it's like when you're at a job and you see somebody excelling quicker than you excelled. And kind of to Chris's point, to kind of double it back to the question he asked, a lot of his attacking mannerisms, I guess styles or whatever, I don't know the word, seems like somebody along the lines of Kizaru. He just sits there and he creates his like drones, his clay clones. He just sits there and he creates his like mud that goes everywhere. Very lazy.
It's almost like you don't expect anybody that you're facing to actually get past the light or the clay golems to actually get to you, so there's no real way for you to get hurt.
The only way that would make me like, now the fact that he has that giant mace is also kind of a telling like, hey, stay away, I got this giant ass mace. But if he had like a giant shield and something, it would be like, oh yeah, bro, like you're afraid of getting hit.
Yeah.
But he does kind of seem like he's afraid of getting hit.
It definitely comes across as with Bruce's like style in particular, he's doing more, what was the word or phrase? Crowd control than anything else. You're not going to ask for Bruce to do crowd control against Avalo Bizarro. That is a one-on-one fight.
That's a Kobe
Either
fight.
You incapacitate him or you don't. But crowd control on a giant fist that's going to destroy a ship of our civilians and our teammates that are trying to get away,
crowd
good luck.
control isn't the crowd control isn't the crowd pleaser.
That's not the answer.
Well, yeah.
You haven't made a giant golem that's on par with a giant island.
Yeah. Kev, did you have a point?
I mean, as far as his hatred toward Kobe, I think that's another thing that I feel like is pretty, like, he's the leader. Think of these 5 or 4 as like the Power Rangers. Drake is away on a mission. Prince Groose is the Red Ranger right now, and then here comes Kobe. And he's like, "Hey,
who's the Blue Ranger? Get the fuck out!
Move out the way, bro. Move out the way, dog."
Billy, you're Billy.
You right there. No. Like Drake was.
He becomes like the Gold Ranger or some shit like that.
Drake was the Red Ranger. He was the Blue Ranger, and then the Red Ranger leaves. So for an episode, Blue Ranger in charge. You're like, oh, I'm in charge. The Red Ranger gone. I guess I'm gonna be the new. Oh wait, what is that? A green guy. A Green Ranger? Who are you? A Gold Ranger? A Silver Ranger? A White Ranger?
A Black Ranger with gold accents. Like everything that Kevin is articulating is everyone who's on the podcast right now. Corey with the black and gold, me and Kev with the red. It's not like you saw a Blue Ranger in this shit that was gonna dictate this shit and run it. But everything's to Kev's point.
Yeah, he definitely third. I couldn't even say was it like second fiddle, third fiddle, or something like that. But
couldn't be that.
I don't think he's third because I think Kujaku is.
Yes.
She seems like I
think Drake is.
Drake's the third.
This is akin to us having the conversation where I was like Nami starting 5. This is the same conversation, but you're having it with Sword.
Yeah, but. Well, that's the thing. Like, Kobe calls Groose, like, San. Like, Groose is a higher ranking within Sword, but he's not a higher ranking in the people's eye or in his eye. So it's like,
right, but you got to take into consideration how other people work with Groose and take Groose into consideration with that shit. Like, if you were this high-ranking member and I see you as that, how am I going to work with you? Like when I was giving the example of doing the starting 5, you have another 5 in a wild card. Is like the way that I orchestrated that shit. There is a certain group of people who fuck with Nami 100% and are gonna be looking at Nami. So Nami's the crux of that shit in the first 5.
What do you
in
mean
the
as
second
far as
5,
Bruce go?
like in terms of
people
Bruce,
like seeing him.
he's not. He's somebody who has to be not necessarily bailed out, but you have to have people who are working with him that he's going to do well. maybe you can have him working with Kobe. Like Garp instructed Kobe, Groose, and Helmeppo to do the final thing to take out Avala. You have to have him going with either he's the top dog or he's working in juxtaposition in the same starting lineup competing against Kobe. That's what I mean by that. You have to set up people who can work with both of those individual people as a supporting cast to accent it. Either Groose is going solo and he has 4 people who are helping him, or he's competing against Kobe and there's like 3 people helping the both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, he's a rear admiral, so he does have a lot of leadership potential. He probably has a lot of leadership experience. Outside, like, I bet you when he has his own, like, strike forces, he does an okay job. Moving on to the other ones, you got Kobe. You talk a lot about Kobe. Hibari's 17. What are you doing in the military right now? Lieutenant Commander Helmeppo.
There's an admiral, bro. Like, what else are you gonna do? Father's an admiral. You gotta join the military.
Speaking of military families, we have Helmeppo, lowest ranking lieutenant commander, and the age is right there in the military.
You gotta look at it like how Kevin is expressing, like you got Hibari, who's son of Akainu, who is the one who's running the entire military, and then you got Axe Morgan, who was dubbed in the first episode.
We're talking absolutely. Okay. We don't know that.
Okay,
I'm confirming.
I'm just saying that Axe Morgan is in jail, and you have to deal with Helmeppo's shit of nepotism, thinking that he was running shit, as opposed to the guy who ends up running the entire Marines, and you're the daughter of him.
Well, I don't think
that's a completely different like paradigm.
I don't see that having to do anything with like their rank. I think that's literally just them being, decent soldiers, and I think Helmeppo, like, just by the time he got to this like level where they put him in sword, like, I think when he got a sword, he could do a whole lot. You know what I mean? But I think at the point he got to sword, like the point where people become warlords and they burn their bounties and they freeze right there, he didn't do a lot. He got stuck right at lieutenant commander. Nobody took orders from him. He never did anything.
Agreed.
I 100%. I'm right there with you. He will always be this. This is kind of like when people leave to sword is kind of. This is how I imagine that their title is. And then after that, it's just how long have you been in sword? That kind of runs your tenuredness.
Yes, because it's like Kujaku and like Groose are not going to have the same experience as Helmeppo.
Yeah. Even though their ages relative.
Yeah, even though everyone's in sword.
Kev,
y'all were in here tenured.
Real quick, Kev, your point?
Yeah, and I just love how Helmeppo is just kind of in the middle. I've always thought really low of him, but in the recent chapters, he's going to be the one person who can confirm that this is the new era, because he was a product of the worst part of the old era. If he lasts long enough to see Kobe develop the new Marines, he's going to be like, you guys are so lucky to be in the Marine Corps that Kobe built today, rather than something like my dad was a part of.
That would be cool.
I would appreciate Helmeppo being the everyman.
Oh yeah, he's a company man for sure. He doesn't have the power to be anybody else yet.
Fuck out of that.
Or
like your point, he's giving them context of where they're coming from.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like he is like the Sengoku, like the new like Akainu like level, where it's just like, look, I've seen a lot. I know the military. I've seen bad.
Do you know how much credence and credit you're giving Sengoku if you're comparing him to Helmeppo? If Sengoku is the guy that is capable of stopping Garp, you're talking about Helmeppo being able to stop Kobe. No. Do you understand that?
Sengoku, Garp didn't want to fight Sengoku.
To what I'm saying right now. What I'm saying is
that's the parallel.
That is a very. I see the parallel because I guess I see it, but no. The parallel I'm making is more of like we had a theory before that Garp was originally asked to be fleet admiral and he turned it down, and so Sengoku took it. I'm thinking maybe it won't be along the lines of that, but it's like, I don't think Sengoku's as capable as. Also, it's the same thing as like Solo. Like, Garp wasn't fighting back like that. Like, he
You're
wasn't
only
really...
saying You're only saying stuff about Sengoku not being as capable as Garp,
but
Helmeppo is not as capable as Kobe. So how is it different?
Yeah, okay. To a couple of those different points. Sengoku's not as fighting capable as Garp, but he's very knowledgeable. He's very wise, and he knows about the military. Like Helmeppo is going to
my point.
that he's like the I don't think I am. I see your parallel, but I'm not connecting it that they have to be like fighting.
That's fine. We can just drop it at that.
Yeah, I also don't think that Garp was fighting back. Like he wanted to be held down, so he didn't kill nobody. But yeah, I don't know. That's my point on that one. I think Helmeppo has like the possibility to be like a fleet commander, just because it's like that's something to round off his character. I've seen a lot. I know about the military. I've seen the bad. I've seen the good. I was part of the good. I've worked with pirates, so I know what a good pirate and a bad pirate is.
I mean, I'll just give him. Okay, guys. Okay, you know what? Let's just end it. I'll end it on this note. I've been talking to Oda recently, and he told me what Helmeppo's ending is going to be, and it's actually going to be Marine instructor. He's going to run the academy.
Oh, Aruka.
I told him like, hey, like bro, that's a little played out. Why don't we kill him to give Kobe like that edge? And he's like, nah, dude, this is a shonen manga. Like, I'm not gonna do that shit. You dumb.
I would honestly.
I was like, damn, okay, my fault, Oda, my fault.
Honestly, like, what if they did the thing with Pedro? You know, where Pedro like sacrifices himself a couple of times. What if we see like Helmeppo sacrifice himself like 2 more times
for Kobe, for the dawn of the Marines, dude?
True.
I'm telling you,
that's the intro. Thank you.
Yeah, me and Oda, we tight, bro. We tight. I'm in his ear. I told you guys what's gonna happen. So go ahead, mark that in the calendar right here. You guys tell me how far off I am with Helmeppo and the rest of the Sword members here. Any last comments, guys?
No. I think as far as like the Sword members, like their dynamic is kind of just like we've talked about it before. Like their dynamic is a tight knit group. I think like with these age discrepancies, it kind of like fleshes their personalities out more, but it doesn't really change their dynamics from what we've seen.
Right. It gives context to why what's his name, Bruce would feel a way about Kobe, but it doesn't really absolve him for feeling a way about Kobe.
And I guess I'll leave it with this as well. I could have also guessed all of these ages. I feel like this isn't really new information. It was more of a confirmation of information, and that's all these SBSs.
There's one that's strange. It's Bruce, because he was in the school with him. He was in the school, so I'm like, I thought he was the same age. That's the only thing I got.
I guess, but I knew Helmeppo was there too, and I knew they weren't the same age. So I guess I imagine that they were. It was like, I mean, it's like an old country school.
Helmeppo was drinking at the bar. I knew he was one of them. He was drinking at the bar pre-test kid.
Well, yeah, but it's like an old country school. It's like you got a 5-year-old who's learning ABCs, and he's doing trig in the corner, and he's 22. Like,
all right, everybody's separated to your pods. But
I get it. I've seen old movies.
But yeah, what do you guys think? We're gonna add that. Maybe we'll add this to the Sword Week playlist. But let us know your guys' thoughts below. We've done a couple of these questions from the SBS and the 10 special Q&A that Oda did. If you guys want us to cover another one, let us know. We are the Grand Line Gazette.
Those who do comment and everything, thanks for commenting. I'm not going to shout you out by name, but give better prompts to questions and everything so that we can answer them for videos.
Yeah,
thank you for engaging. But we want to take your comments into consideration so we have a better prompt for a video.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Later. Have a good day, guys.